¿Cuándo sabemos que nosotros estamos en vivo?
En un... Desde la Oficina de Relaciones Interinstitucionales de la Universidad Nacional de Colombia, sede Manizales, es muy grato para nosotros saludarlos el día de hoy, 26 de mayo de 2026, en el evento Bulgaria, Destino, intercambio y cooperación académica para la comunidad UNAL, para lo cual contaremos con la participación de la doctora en historia, doctora Alexandra Milanova, doctora en historia moderna y contemporánea, quien a través de su presentación y conversación con el doctor Neil Guerrero, docente de la Universidad Nacional de Colombia, de nuestra sede, nos ilustrará sobre la historia milenaria y la diversidad cultural que nos ofrece este maravilloso destino, de tal forma que podamos lograr hacer una transferencia de conocimiento, así como la construcción de diferentes puentes de cooperación académica y científica. Espero que disfruten mucho de esta presentación y le doy paso al profesor Alejandro Dauracio, quien es el coordinador del programa de gestión cultural y comunicativa de la sede Manizales. Sin nada, le doy paso al profesor. Muchas gracias.
Buenos días y para todos y todas, le agradezco al profesor Neil que pueda invitar a la profesora colega de la Universidad Sofía, capital de un gran país de apenas 7 millones de habitantes, 7 millones de habitantes. O sea, Bulgaria es equivalente a Bogotá para nosotros. Eso da pie a un país que pasó por una gran historia de diversos imperios, transcurrió bajo la hegemonía de diversos grupos políticos y imperios a lo largo de su historia, y también bajo el yugo del comunismo en la Guerra Fría, y se transitó a una época de libertad y expresión democrática que cobijó las artes. Sofía es una bella capital que tengo el placer de conocerlo a través del ajedrez, que tiene apenas 1,5 millones de habitantes, con un casco histórico bellísimo, profe Neil, casco histórico bellísimo. Bueno, dado esta introducción de halago a una ciudad que tiene calidad de vida y un encanto especial, Sofía es muy linda, igual que me encanta Budapest, y me encanta Viena y sobre todo Praga, o sea, ciudades del centro europeo, centro y oriente de Europa. Dado ese tipo de circunstancias, para nosotros es pertinente plantear la necesidad de este tipo de alianzas en lo que atañe no solamente a las artes, profe Neil, sino también en enfoques de intervención, de cooperación internacional, de intercambio de estudiantes, intercambio de profesores, alianzas en grupos de investigación, producción editorial conjunta entre nuestras universidades. Si bien el tamaño de nuestra Universidad Nacional es gigantesca comparado con las universidades del centro y oriente europeo, no es menos la calidad y la capacidad que tienen en su recorrido académico las universidades de Europa Oriental, en este caso la Universidad Sofía. Entonces, bienvenidas ustedes a nuestro entorno. Para nosotros es un placer recibirlos. Los estudiantes de gestión cultural van entrando por graneados poco a poco. Es parte de una lógica, lamentablemente, de una generación que a veces le cuesta interactuar, pero que son conscientes de la necesidad de la internacionalización de sus perfiles académicos. Entonces, muchas gracias, profesor Neil, por la intermediación, por tomarse el trabajo de hacernos el puente mediador institucional con la Universidad Sofía. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a usted, profesor Guillermo. Muchas gracias, doctora Claudia, directora de la ORI en la sede de Manizales. Muchas gracias al equipo de Unimedios, a Julián, a Esteban, a todos los que hacen posible también esta transmisión. También le extiendo el agradecimiento a Álvaro Javier, a Fabio, al equipo de la ORI. Me alegra mucho volver a tener contacto con todos ustedes en esta ocasión por este medio, utilizando esta virtualidad. Me encuentro efectivamente en la ciudad de Sofía, la hermosa ciudad de Sofía en Bulgaria. Y en estos momentos acompañado de la doctora Alexandra Milanova. Alexandra es historiadora, ella está vinculada a la Academia de las Ciencias de Bulgaria, ella da clases también en la Universidad de Sofía y pertenece también a la Academia Joven Global, al Global Young Academy. Es la primera representante de este hermoso país de Bulgaria en el Global Young Academy. Yo también hago parte del GYA y gracias a esta organización pues nos conocimos y hemos estado compartiendo algunas discusiones, algunos debates académicos. Ella, por supuesto, desde la historia, desde la diplomacia cultural y yo un poco más desde la ingeniería. Lo más importante de este evento es que Alexandra nos va a compartir un poco sobre Bulgaria y su historia. Nos va a revelar, nos va a develar las bellezas culturales de Bulgaria. Pero esto es solo el abrebocas, esto es solo el abrebocas. Con esto establecemos un contacto que yo espero se fortalezca y que nosotros podamos como colombianos poder venir acá, compartir con ellos y también invitar a los búlgaros, invitarlos a ellos a que vayan a Colombia y podamos hermanarlos. Dr. Alexandra Milanova, thank you very much on behalf of all my community in Manizales for your presence, for your time. Se me olvidó decir, hoy es festivo aquí en Bulgaria, hoy es festivo, porque el sábado se celebró el Día del Alfabeto Cirílico. Y al ser sábado, el siguiente día de trabajo, que es hoy lunes 26 de mayo, es festivo. Y aún así, Alexandra está aquí con nosotros, además son las 6:06 de la tarde. Aquí son las 6:06 de la tarde. Entonces, realmente es un regalo que ella nos hace. So, Alexandra, today is a holiday here. It's already 6 p.m. and you are here with us, sharing your knowledge, sharing your words with all my community. This presentation will be recorded, so all people will have the chance then to review again and again your conference. So with no more words, I'm going to give the floor to Alexandra. Thank you, Alexandra.
Thank you, Dr. Guerrero, distinguished colleagues and students. It is indeed a great honor and complete pleasure for me to see you all today, even if online for the moment. I will try to briefly present my home country, Bulgaria, although its 1,000-year history and rich culture deserves more attention, but we will try to fit in about 45 to 15 minutes. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Professor Guerrero, to the entire team of the Office for Interinstitutional Relations at the National University of Colombia in Manizales, for giving me the opportunity to talk more about my country. So I will try to share my presentation. I'm not sure why. Okay. So I'm not sure whether they see the screen.
Pueden ver, ¿alguien nos puede confirmar si están viendo la pantalla, la presentación? ¿Pueden ver la presentación?
Sí, la vamos perfecto. Perfecto. Sí.
Sí, cierto, pueden ver, ¿cierto? Profe, no se ve la proyección. Yes, now they can see the presentation. Very good.
Great. I'm sorry for this delay. So first things first, where is Bulgaria? Where are we with Professor Guerrero? So Bulgaria is a country situated in Southeastern Europe, the so-called Old Continent, and being one of the oldest states itself. More precisely, the country is located on the Balkan Peninsula. This is a geographical area called generally the Balkans. In fact, the region takes its name over the Balkan mountains that are stretching throughout our country, Bulgaria. You can see on the left side on the screen the mountain, the Balkan mountain that gave its name to the entire geographical region. And on the right side, you can see where Bulgaria is situated, and it is now bordered by Romania, Serbia, North Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, and the Black Sea on the east.
Apparently, they are not changing. Estamos en estos momentos cambiando las diapositivas. Estamos en una que dice About Bulgaria. ¿Ustedes pueden verla? No, no está tomando el cambio. Entonces lo que podemos hacer, manéjala así. Alexandra, just go to the PowerPoint. Yes, and just change by clicking here. So don't move to the presentation mode because apparently it's not connected.
Okay, I see. Okay. So some brief facts about Bulgaria. The first Bulgarian empire was founded more than 1,300 years ago in 680, 681, but Bulgarian lands have been inhabited since antiquity. And I will give you examples of the earliest habitation of the Bulgarian lands afterwards. The capital city we already mentioned is Sofia, and it is situated in the western part of Bulgaria, and it has a population of about 1.5 to 2 million people. The official language is Bulgarian. It's a Cyrillic alphabet. We use Cyrillic alphabet. We invented it, but I will elaborate on this at the end of today's lecture. And our constitution, and Bulgarians were introduced into Christianity in 9th century. Our currency is the Bulgarian lev. It's a national currency, but we expect that from January next year, we enter into the Eurozone and we will use the euro. Bulgaria is a member of the European Union since 1st of January 2007. On your right side, you can see the Bulgarian flag consisted of 3 colors, white, green, and red. Bulgaria is a parliamentary republic and is divided into 28 administrative areas. The Sofia, as the capital city, is the largest and the most populated city and the main economic, educational, and cultural center. We have a president, but the main power is in the parliament. Our president has a representative functions, and he's also a head of the Bulgarian army. So Bulgaria is a place where prehistoric, Thracian, Slavic, Proto-Bulgarian, ancient Greek, Roman and Byzantine people, and many in between, have pioneered extraordinary feats of engineering as well as beautiful works of art. The first one I would like to present to you today is the so-called Varna Chalcolithic necropolis. So the so-called Varna treasure was discovered next to the Varna Lake on the Black Sea. You can see on the right of your screen, this red part is the Varna area, and there is the Varna Lake. So in 1972, a young worker was digging a trench for an electric cable, and as he was digging, he found some gold bracelets and other golden objects. So he basically discovered a treasure by chance, like most treasures have been found. So initially he didn't realize that this was a treasure and of exceptional value. So he put all the objects he found, you can see part of the treasure, in a shoebox, and he hid the treasure in his house under his bed, waiting for an archaeologist to come and to discover the real value of the objects. So it turned out that those artifacts date back 6,500 years. So this is the oldest gold treasure, processed gold treasure in the world. And it's a big surprise even for Bulgarians. Just some Bulgarians know about the oldest processed gold being found in Bulgaria. Usually when you think of ancient gold, you probably imagine the Egyptian civilization or El Dorado, but truth is that the oldest gold treasure has been discovered in Bulgaria. And that's probably why the Spanish edition of National Geographic chose this treasure and some objects of the treasure to put on the cover of its edition in December 2023. What is the most important and significant, in my opinion, is not so that those are precious objects made of gold, but that they show that the humankind has always needed to express itself by creating art. And this goes back 6,500 years from now. You can see how the objects were found. This treasure is now kept at the Varna Archaeological Museum on the east coast of Bulgaria, the Varna being the biggest and the most populous city in the east part of Bulgaria. So it is surprising that a century after the first excavation, the site continues to yield finds. There is still incredible material coming out of the ground, and presently there are more than 5,000 artifacts that have been found in this necropolis. According to the archaeologists and historians, the ancient Varna people didn't use these objects for trade or for an exchange. They believed in the afterlife, so they put all their precious objects into the grave, hoping that in the afterlife they will be taken a good care of them. The Bulgarian cultural heritage also gives us a glimpse into an amazing civilization, the Thracians. Thracians were one of the oldest tribes in Europe, and according to the father of history, Herodotus, and they were also the most powerful and the most numerous in the ancient world after the Indian people. The Thracians were fierce tribal warriors known for their horsemanship, and they thrived in Bulgaria and beyond for over 1,000 of years, from the 6th century before the Common Era to the 7th century of the Common Era. They were even mentioned as loyal allies of the Trojans in Homer's Iliad. Thracians were enigmatic because their own written history has not survived, because they didn't possess an alphabet and a script, but they left us a captivating clues, particularly in a valley that is so rich with tombs and burials. One of them is the Thracian tomb of Kazanlak. You can see part of the murals and the frescoes found inside this tomb. The monument dates back to the 4th century before the Common Era and has been on the UNESCO Protected World Heritage Site list since 1979. The paintings in this small tomb, as you can see, are Bulgaria's best preserved artistic masterpieces from the Hellenistic period. You can see an image of the dome of this tomb, and with the intention to preserve the delicate paintings, the tomb is not open to the general public, but a full-size and exact replica of the building was built nearby for public access. Undoubtedly, one of the most precious treasures found on Bulgarian lands is the so-called Panagurishte treasure. It was found accidentally in 1949, and at the time of its discovery, it was considered the richest treasure to have been unearthed in Europe since the Second World War. It is made of high-quality gold, and its weight is a bit more than 6 kilograms. It consists of 9 vessels, of which are richly and skillfully decorated. The most fascinating vessel you can see on the right side on the screen is the Amphoraton, decorated with scenes from Greek mythology and the Homer's Iliad. The treasure is dated from the end of the 4th and the beginning of the 3rd century BC. It is thought to have been used as a ceremonial set by one of the Thracian kings. This treasure is astonishing not because of the exceptional artistry and artisanship, but because it's one of the best preserved pieces of this era. As one of the best known surviving artifacts of the Thracian culture, the treasure has been displayed at various museums around the world, including the Louvre, the British Museum, the museum in Brussels, and many others. One of the achievements of the Bulgarian and the Balkan cultural diplomacy is showcasing this precious treasure at the Getty Villa in Los Angeles in the United States from November last year to 3rd of March this year. The exhibition, titled Ancient Race and the Classical World, Treasures from Bulgaria, Romania, and Greece, has been displayed for the first time to the citizens and the visitors of Los Angeles. And it was significant because it encompassed artifacts from 140 Bulgarian museums, as well as museums in Romania, Greece, and the North Macedonia. It is good to know that while the treasures are abroad on expositions, according to the Bulgarian law, there could be up to 3 replicas of the entire treasure. So in the case of the Panagurishte treasure, which is normally kept at the National Museum of History located in Sofia, there are also replicas in the Regional Archaeological Museum in Plovdiv, which is the 2nd largest city in Bulgaria, and also in the Museum of History in the small town of Panagurishte, near which the treasure has been discovered. And speaking about Plovdiv, which is, as I said, the 2nd largest city in Bulgaria and also my hometown, it was a European capital of culture in 2019, together with Matera in Italy. There are many beautiful examples of the Bulgarian cultural heritage preserved in the city of Plovdiv. One of them is the ancient theater of Philippopolis. Philippopolis was the ancient name of the city of Plovdiv, given after the Philip II of Macedon, the father of the famous Alexander the Great. As you can see, the ancient theater's shape is semicircular with an outer diameter of 82 meters, 28 rows of marble seats surrounding the stage. It is among the best preserved ancient theaters in the world, and it was built in the 1st century. Inscriptions have been found denoting the seats of honorary spectacles, members of the city government, magistrates, and friends of the emperor. The theater was used as a seat of the provincial assembly for animal fights and gladiator games. At the end of the 4th century, a large part of the theater was destroyed by either fire or an earthquake. This was until the late 1960s, when the ruins of the structure were found during archaeological excavations in the region carried out by the Plovdiv Archaeological Museum staff. The restoration of the ancient theater of Philippopolis is recognized as one of the greatest achievements in the conservation field in Bulgaria. The monument was restored using the original architectural elements to the greatest degree possible. And at present, the theater houses various performances like concerts, opera, and other shows for 5,000 to 7,000 of spectators. Of course, if the weather allows it, because it's an open-air theater, as you can see. While in Plovdiv, I would like to show you also the Bishop's Basilica of Philippopolis, also known as the Great Basilica. It is currently in the UNESCO tentative list of the cultural heritage of the world. The Bishop's Basilica of Philippopolis is the largest early Christian temple in Bulgaria and was likely among the first to be built in the Roman Empire after Christianity in 313. It was erected over the ruins of the ancient building, probably dating back to the 1st century. First discovered in 1982 during road construction in Plovdiv, the basilica has been brought back to life thanks to a public-private partnership between the America for Bulgaria Foundation, the Plovdiv municipality, and the Bulgarian Ministry of Culture. The restoration project began in 2014, and the restored basilica, as you can see the building on your screen, opened its doors for visitors in 2021. And the most impressive findings in the basilica were the mosaics. Its magnificent Roman floor mosaics dated back to the 4th and 6th century and are exhibited on 2 levels. And more than 100 unique medallions with different types of birds come to life on the mosaics, from dancing guinea fowls to peacocks with outstretched tails, from chattering parrots to a bird that feeds its young. And it is an interesting fact that you can, let's say, adopt a bird from the mosaics, and it will take your name. So from Plovdiv, we go up to the mountains and to the famous Riva Monastery, which is one of the landmarks of Bulgaria. It is situated in the Riva mountain, and it was founded centuries ago. It is also, the Riva Monastery has been also included in the UNESCO World Heritage List from 1973. So the Riva Monastery is one of the largest Eastern Orthodox monastery on the entire Balkan Peninsula outside the Athos, where monasteries were created by Orthodox churches of different nations. Initially, the Saint John of Rila built the monastery in 10th century. Since then, the monastery has played an important role in the Bulgarian revival because from 14th to the 19th century, Bulgaria was part of the Ottoman Empire, and the state itself didn't exist. So in its 1,000-year existence, the monastery had survived uprisings, development, and declines, but has remained a free territory of the Bulgarian spirit. No other place in Bulgaria has preserved the work of builders and artists of different periods from the 14th to the 19th century. You can see now how beautifully preserved is one of the frescoes of the main church. And it depicted Saint George, the evangelist, amidst scenes from the Apocalypse. Now I would like to present you some of the Bulgarian masterpieces inscribed in the UNESCO representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This is the so-called nestinarstvo, or fire dancing. This is a traditional barefoot fire dancing ritual performed in some regions of southern Bulgaria since ancient times. The origins of this ritual are indeed debated, whether they are Christian and have to do with the fire that burned down under Constantine the Great, or the origins are Thracians and have to do with the adoration of the sun, the fire, the light, and the belief in the afterlife. The tradition symbolizes the marriage of the sun, the so-called great god, with the darkness or the great goddess. And when Christianity arrived, this tradition was retrofitted to embody the new religion, with Saint Constantine and Helena taking the place of the Thracian gods. The next typical Bulgarian tradition is rather a peculiar one, and it's called kukeri. These are masked men. You will find similarities with other countries in the world, particularly in Africa. So kukeri are elaborately costumed Bulgarian men who perform traditional rituals intended to scare away evil spirits. The costumes, as you can see, cover most of the body and include decorated wooden masks of animals, sometimes double-headed, and large bells attached to the bell. Around New Year and before Lent, the kukeri walk and dance through villages to scare away evil spirits with their costumes and the sound of their bells. They are also believed to provide a good harvest, health, and happiness to the village for the year ahead. The kukeri traditionally visit people's houses at night so that the sun would not catch them on the road. After parading around the village, they usually gather at the village square to dance wildly and amuse the people. Kukeri rituals vary by region, but remain largely the same in essence. And even today, this tradition is largely performed, and there is a festival dedicated to this tradition, usually organized at the end of January in a small town near Sofia called Pernik. Last but not least is the Cyrillic alphabet. It is inscribed neither in the UNESCO World Heritage List nor in its representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity, but it is one of the most important characterization of Bulgaria and the Bulgarian society. In the 9th century, the brothers Cyril and Methodius created it and disseminated the Cyrillic alphabet. On the left side on your screen, you can see the initial Cyrillic alphabet, and on the right side is the today's Bulgarian script. It is a bit confusing for foreigners. Professor Guerrero could confirm that, because most of the sites in Bulgaria are only in Cyrillic, and there is no translation or transliteration in Latin script. As of today, around 300 million of people around the world use Cyrillic alphabet, with Russia accounting for about half of them. It's usually mistaken that the Cyrillic alphabet was invented in Russia, but in fact it was created in Bulgarian lands. So after the accession of Bulgaria in the European Union on the 1st of January 2007, the Cyrillic script became the third official script of the European Union, following the Latin and Greek scripts. And as we mentioned in the beginning of the lecture, we have a special holiday in Bulgaria to commemorate the Cyrillic alphabet and the work of the brothers Cyril and Methodius. It is on the 24th of May, and it's called the Day of Slavonic Alphabet, Bulgarian Enlightenment and Culture. And this holiday has been celebrated for 173 years. And it is exceptional because no other holiday was so long celebrated in the Bulgarian late history. And it's also a bank holiday. So at last, I would like to conclude this part of the lecture, hoping that it inspires you to get to know Bulgarian culture and history a bit more. I really hope that you will visit or revisit Bulgaria, and that soon I will be able to welcome you here in Sofia and here in the academy that has been founded 156 years ago, even before the restoration of the modern Bulgarian state and the liberation of Bulgaria from Ottoman rule. So you can see that even 156 years ago, our nation, our people, gave an importance to science, education, and culture. And if it is one message that you would take from today's presentation and from my talk, let it be that cultural heritage is not only some precious objects or ancient artifacts or some old stones, as usually my students refer to the cultural heritage as old stones, but it is a characterization of a society. And that's why it is important, and it is, in my opinion, our duty and responsibility not only to preserve, promote, and protect our heritage, but also to make it thrive so it can contribute to the development of society. So thank you very much for your attention. I promise that next time I will say a few words in Spanish. I will work on my Spanish in the meantime.
Thank you very much, Alexandra, for this great talk. I hope you can enjoy again and again by revisiting the recording of this talk, because we will have it in our all channels and social media from the university. 2 weeks ago, Alexandra gave to me a big lesson. We were attending an event organized by the Sofia University, in which academics were discussing about the European Union, the future of the European Union. I'm going to say this in Spanish, Alexandra, because you already know the big lesson you gave to me. Hace 2 semanas estuvimos atendiendo un evento en la Universidad de Sofía, en donde Alexandra fue una de las conferencistas y los académicos estaban analizando y discutiendo el futuro de la Unión Europea. Dentro del evento se tocaron temas como la inteligencia artificial, la tecnología, y uno de los eventos, una de las mesas de trabajo en particular fue sobre cultura. No fue el primer evento, sucedió casi al final de todo el evento. La doctora Alexandra presentó acerca de la cultura en Bulgaria, sus apuntes, su visión. Y al final de la presentación dijo algo que yo se los quiero transmitir porque me lo enseñó. Yo soy de formación ingeniero electrónico. Y también normalmente tiendo a darle prioridad a lo tecnológico, a la inteligencia artificial, a todos estos cambios que están en estos momentos ocurriendo en el mundo. Pero alguien le preguntó a Alexandra por qué es importante la cultura. ¿por qué la cultura debería ser el primer elemento de análisis y de discusión, incluso antes de cualquier tipo de análisis y discusión tecnológica o económica? Y Alexandra respondió, porque precisamente nosotros tenemos que saber lo que debemos defender. Porque en el análisis de la Unión Europea, que se estaba haciendo sobre la Unión Europea, se percibe una amenaza, se percibe que es importante, por lo menos aquí los europeos, volver a analizar su identidad, a volver a revivir su identidad y proteger esa identidad y esos valores. La cultura nos permite saber qué estamos defendiendo. Como lo dijo ella, nos permite caracterizar nuestra sociedad. Creo que los estudiantes de gestión cultural y los profesores tienen una gran responsabilidad en estos momentos, porque en Colombia también necesitamos volver otra vez a identificarnos, volver otra vez a los principios, volver otra vez a ponernos de acuerdo, a recordar qué es lo que nos hace colombianos. Hoy en la presentación, Alexandra nos muestra qué es lo que los hace búlgaros, de muchos años de historia. Cuáles son sus fiestas, cuáles son sus pinturas, cuáles son sus tribus antiguas, ¿no? Y a partir de ahí, la identidad búlgara se soporta y ellos saben quiénes son. Nosotros tenemos que también trabajar sobre nuestra identidad, recordar nuestros valores, nuestros principios, porque creo que también en estos momentos podemos estar percibiendo algunas amenazas externas e internas. Entonces, a todos, muchas gracias también por atender a esta conferencia. Como Alexandra lo dijo, esperamos que este sea el primer encuentro de muchos y que muchos estudiantes y profesores puedan venir aquí a esta hermosa ciudad de Sofía, a este hermoso país de Bulgaria, para que visitemos no solo Sofía, sino Plovdiv, Varna y otras ciudades de Bulgaria. No sé si de pronto hay alguna pregunta que quieran hacer nuestros estudiantes o quienes estuvieron atendiendo la conferencia. Alexandra, thank you very much. Beautiful. Beautiful, powerful, this conference. Yes, we will wait a little bit for questions.
Profe Neil.
Maybe if I can.
Sí, señor. Profe Guillermo, adelante.
Sí, muchas gracias, profe Neil, muchas gracias la profesora, colega conferencista. La perspectiva para nosotros es diversos espacios donde puede haber intercambio, sobre todo intercambios estudiantiles. Creería yo que en aspectos que tienen que ver con patrimonio histórico europeo oriental es muy importante, sobre todo el área de los Balcanes y todo el área eslava. Toda Europa Oriental para nosotros es atractivo desde la perspectiva histórica, con un gran legado histórico y sobre todo en las artes, sobre todo en el sistema de grandes exponentes artísticos que en Bulgaria, Hungría, República Checa han expuesto transiciones, especialmente transiciones que tienen que ver con liberaciones de opresión a lo largo de sus historias, ¿sí? Entonces creo que ahí hay un factor desencadenante importante para que nuestros estudiantes en patrimonio, yo también pienso, profe Neil, no sé usted qué piensa, que arquitectura es llamado a ser también una carrera clave para aprovechar estos espacios culturales. Es gestional y arquitectura, me parece a mí, los llamados a tener un mayor puente articulador entre la Universidad de Sofía y la Universidad Nacional de Colombia. No sé qué opina usted, de acuerdo a su experiencia como directivo, como profesor a lo largo de los últimos años en la Nacional, y su perspectiva, que es bastante multidimensional. Aún siendo ingeniero, usted tiene una mirada bastante amplia, profe, y eso me encanta de parte suya. Adelante, profe.
Gracias, profe Guillermo. So Guillermo is asking me about the real possibility to interact because he identifies different dimensions in which we can go deeper in this discussion. He mentioned, for example, that architecture is one of these issues, arts. And of course, I would like to process the agreement through you with the academy between my university, the National University of Colombia, and the Academy of Sciences.
Okay.
In that agreement, we can define strategies for academic exchange. ¿Ya? Sí, profe Guillermo, estoy totalmente de acuerdo. Además, está sucediendo algo particular y es que Bulgaria se está empezando a abrir. A partir de hace muy poco, tal vez este año, Bulgaria por lo menos desde la Universidad Tecnológica de Sofía, que también yo estoy en la Universidad Tecnológica de Sofía ahora, está haciendo convocatorias para que investigadores internacionales vengan a Bulgaria. Por eso estoy acá, porque gané una convocatoria de la Unión Europea para ser investigador en la Tecnológica de Sofía. Entonces, es un muy buen momento. Todas las posibilidades están dadas. Ya acabo de hablar con Alexandra porque es posible que gestionemos el convenio inmediatamente entre nuestra universidad y la Academia de las Ciencias, porque ya tenemos convenio con la Universidad de Sofía. Alexandra está en la Academia de las Ciencias, entonces podemos hacer el convenio con la Academia de las Ciencias y explorar opciones para que ustedes, profesores, vengan a Bulgaria. Nosotros invitamos a Alexandra y a sus colegas a Colombia y empezamos este camino de aprendizaje conjunta y de colaboración. Sí.
And just to add something, the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences includes 50 different institutes working in a large scale of fields, from history, art studies, archaeology, technical science, engineering, and so on. So if you have a general agreement with the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences, all the institutes can benefit from this cooperation. And also, it is different with other academies, but in our academy, we also have PhD students, not only teaching staff. We don't teach students, but we have a PhD students. So an exchange between doctoral students is also possible.
O sea, esto es esencial porque creo que tenemos todas las posibilidades, por ejemplo, para que la profesora Alexandra también supervise tesis de maestría, tesis de doctorado, sea la cosupervisora. Entonces, profe Guillermo, que este sea el comienzo,
Profe, muchas gracias.
And we also have connections to the Faculty of Philosophy of the Sofia University, where the Department of Cultural Studies and European Studies is included. So we can try to establish also a cooperation agreement with the University of Sofia.
Very good. So it's already almost 7 p.m. here in Sofia. Alexandra, on behalf of my university, the National University of Colombia, thank you so much for your time, for your talk, for remembering again the importance of culture, the importance of identity, the importance of know what we have to defend, particularly in these times. So we have to go back to history and remember our beginnings, because those beginnings for sure have the answers of questions that we are asking to ourselves nowadays, and apparently without answer. The answer is there in the beginning. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for inviting me. And last word for me, it's difficult to keep the time because I'm a historian and a woman historian, and I tend to speak a lot. But usually Bulgaria is referred to as a small country and also well developed as other European countries. But in culture, there are no small and underdeveloped countries. and a small country in terms of population or square meters or GDP or so on could be a giant in culture, in science, and in education. So I hope that we will continue to exchange views and traditions and to speak about culture, because culture is the place where we all unite and we can collaborate and we can communicate even when we have differences, and even if we don't agree on everything, culture is the space where we can collaborate.
Entonces, desde este espacio maravilloso, esto que ustedes ven atrás no es el fondo del MIR, estamos en una biblioteca real, esta es una biblioteca maravillosa aquí en la academia. Nos despedimos deseándoles lo mejor, un feliz lunes 26 de mayo, una feliz semana y nos vemos pronto. Que estén muy bien, muchas gracias.
Bienvenidos siempre acá a Colombia por cualquier tipo de intercambio y alianzas, por favor. Muchas gracias.